All right. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the SWSA Zoom series. And my name is Rob Sados. I'm with Saskatchewan Wheelchair Sports Association. I'm actually the high performance wheelchair basketball coach. Most of these sessions have been hosted by Jen Wood, who is our program director, but unfortunately she's away today. So I'm doing it today. But I'm really excited today because we have a presentation on para-Nordic skiing, and a couple of people have joined us, both Colette and Pat. Probably don't need any introduction because I think both Colette and Pat have been around the skiing world for so long. I think everybody in Saskatchewan knows them. But we're going to give them an opportunity to share some information about para-Nordic skiing opportunities. And so, you know what, Colette, Pat, I'll let you take it away, and you can share your presentation when you're ready to go.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'll just introduce myself. My name is Colette Begonia, and I'm the para ski coordinator for Saski. And we're going through a little change in name. Probably at our next meeting, we're looking at Saski Adaptive Snow Sports, and it may be something similar to that, but I'll let Pat introduce herself as well.
Hi, everybody. Pat Prokopchuk. Yes, we are going to change our name that's been around for a bit too long, and it will reflect all of the sports in skiing that we are involved in, like the Nordic that we're talking about today, para-alpine that we won't be discussing today, para-biathlon that we won't be discussing. We're trying to develop the para-snowboarding as well. So it happens when it's ready, when the people are around, and we're happy to expand on the para-Nordic because it's been the easiest one to sort of almost be normal with over the past little challenging couple of years. I always say the para people love nature just as much as the able-bodied ones. So Colette's going to present the slides, and maybe at the end, if that works out, I'll do a little bit about a local event that you're helping us promote.
Okay, well, hopefully you can see the slides, and hopefully I can advance them, and I can't at the moment, but so today we're looking at Saski and adaptive snow sports, and I will show you some pictures actually of alpine and Nordic and biathlon and even snowboarding. And we did have a video from Sochi, but maybe that can be embedded later on in the presentation. And so there is a lot of opportunity for people in Saskatchewan to be active in whatever they choose as far as snow sports is concerned. There is cross country, which is called Nordic, and there is alpine and biathlon, and snowboarding is, it's interesting because there is a Paralympian going to be competing, and she is from Bigger, but I'm not sure where she is from the country, but she will be at the Paralympics in Beijing. So we will be represented in snowboarding, and we were actually also represented in snowboarding from another fellow that moved to BC, but he was from Saskatchewan, and that was in 2018. But so there is a lot of opportunity for people that are have different ability levels. And in para-Nordic skiing, we do have the visually impaired, the standing, and the sitting. And in this picture, you will see Brian McKeever, who is visually impaired, and he will be at the games in Beijing. And he is guided. And then you will also see Brittany Hudak, who is from the Prince Albert area, and she will be competing in the games as well. And so she is a standing athlete. And we'll just go the other way. So para-Nordic sit skiing, that can happen anywhere in the province. We are very fortunate in Saskatoon to have great ski trails. I now live north of Saskatoon and have found different people in that area that have really enjoyed Nordic sit skiing. They have also been offered alpine opportunities as well. So yeah, so each of them have different ability levels, and we're trying to help them with equipment that fits their needs. And so so you can see, I don't know if you can see my arrow, but there are ones that, yeah, okay, great. There are some that have minor spinal cord injuries and sit with their knees down, and that's called kneeling, and that really allows them to put a lot of power into the double pull stroke. So we use the same equipment as able-bodied people. We have normal skis, and we go to EBS quite often for different equipment, and so we use skis and poles, and the stroke is double pulling. So then you have Crystal here, who has her knees up because she has a higher spinal cord injury. And then we have Cherish, who has her knees down a bit. So you've got all these different ability levels. Scott's in a, sometimes you can't bend your knees. So you need something that allows you not to have your legs tucked underneath you like the kneeler, like Levi is in. So there's lots of different ability levels. And then I'm off to the right there, and I have a high spinal cord injury. And so my knees are up quite high. So there's different equipment for different ability levels. And it really depends on the ability level as to what the person wants to choose. We also have biathlon. And here you see Aaron, he's missing part of his arm. And we did a little bit of Nerf biathlon a couple of years ago. But biathlon is also available for sitting, standing, visually impaired. And this picture is supposed to represent from the playground to the podium. And here you have, I believe that's Brittany actually shooting. And that in biathlon, she's really done well in biathlon as well. And here you have a sit ski at the bottom. And what they have to do is they have to bring their sit ski down, then arrange themselves to be able to shoot. So, so there's a lot of fun there for all ability levels to enjoy biathlon at from Nerf to the podium. So our para-alpine program in the province, I'm going to actually let Pat speak about the different areas, because that also involves sitting, standing, and visually impaired athletes. And I'll let Pat talk a little bit about para-alpine.
Okay, for that, in the province, we have a couple of ski clubs registered under Sask Ski that are devoted to a program. Some of them are in multidisciplinary kinds of clubs, or one of them is in a multidisciplinary kind of club around Regina. And then there's a club that's solely devoted to para-alpine, which is more in the middle part of the province. So the people in the south often will be trying to join the program at Fort Capel at Mission Ridge, headed by Gord Poulton. And then it's the longest standing para-alpine club we've got. And he's a race coach for able-bodied, so there's a lot of interest from, the basic grassroots through to competing. And we do have a Paralympic athlete for alpine skiing, Kurt Otway, who's quite active and doing not too bad. The other club is more kind of a recreational base, and we teach the instructors, or we certify instructors who are who are trained in skiing technique, but also have the added information about how to deal with different kind of abilities and the different kind of adaptive equipment. And we have that course that comes down through our national affiliate, the Canadian Association for Disabled Skiing. So we do these courses which are typically a whole weekend, like a very full whole weekend. But that course can be broken down to any kind of workable module type presentation. And so we're just doing one at Optimus Hill starting today, where some staff people from one of the residences in the city who have people interested in skiing. So the staff are going to be trained, and they can just take their residents and go skiing in our urban ski hill at Optimus Hill in Saskatoon. But all these instructors, they will be available at the different ski hills if they are hired on from season to season. And I have to admit, like last year was a bit tough for those folks to do their programming, just because it involves a lot more, like facility-wise and keeping people in their bubble and all that kind of protocol. So that one's been a bit tougher. Para snowboarding, well, as Colette has mentioned, like there is para biathlon, and some of the athletes enjoy that too, and she's involved in training with that, certified to do that. And the para snowboarding, we're looking forward to doing that eventually in the future. So maybe I'll hand it back to you, Colette.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, now we're kind of like, I'm a coach for Nordic skiing, and in the summer, it's actually a year-long program that they can be active in, and it really helps keep them engaged if in the summertime they also do mountain boarding. So mountain boarding is a way to keep them strong, to develop them to be strong enough to do cross-country skiing. It's not an easy sport. It is very tough actually to come from Saskatchewan. So I am pretty happy to have some kids that are actually doing it. And then you'll see three of them, and you know what, they come out when it's not that easy. And so if they start with the mountain boarding, that helps them also get used to the equipment. I find that it's trying to get them equipment that actually fits them is really a challenge. And so that's one of the things that we are working on right now is equipment. So mountain boarding actually is like, it's a lot of fun, actually. That's what really helps them get stronger. I would say one of the things we're very lucky with is our integration with Cross Country Saskatchewan. So I am on the high performance committee with Cross Country Saskatchewan, and I'm very tied into their program, and we look at their program and use their program to help our athletes see that there is a bigger picture, that there are athletes in the able-bodied system. And so what we're really trying to do is follow the long-term athlete development model of year-long training. And we really have to mix that up, because if you're only using arms, I think it's important to make sure they do some other things as well. So in the wintertime, we do Sask Cup racing series. We raced last weekend, and these events are held across the province. And I must say, kudos to Humboldt, the Carlton Ski Trail Club. They have now accessible washrooms, an accessible clubhouse. They renovated an old school. It is phenomenal. So it was really encouraging for me to see that, with the letter writing and the support writing that we did, they we upped the whole event for everybody there. And so it was pretty cool to see that this winter when we raced there in January. So that was fun. And we are also very aligned with the Sport Medicine and Science Council of Saskatchewan. So there is mental training. And, seriously, it's probably a little bit over these guys' heads sometimes, the amount of information that they can get from the Sport Medicine and Science Council. And we join Cross Country Saskatchewan as well. They can do that. They can join the series that is involved there. We do integrated training camps. I would say Waskesiu, we've been doing that for quite a while. This year was the first year we actually went to Lake Louise, and it was a week-long training camp. To be honest, I didn't know how they would handle that. And we were totally focused on skiing, and they did actually really good. Some of the kids were really, they were really tired by the end of it, but that's okay. That's what you do, right? So we also have, we'll be focused on the development camp in Canmore, trying to get them there. And that is where they can be classified And once they're classified, then they can also, if they are fit enough, they can go to the Canada Winter Games. And that is a stretch to make sure that they are fit enough to be able to, race at those games, the Canada Winter Games. And those will be in Prince Edward Island in 2023. But now, because the Saskatchewan Winter Games were canceled, the Saskatchewan Winter Games will probably be reorganized for the week before the Canada Winter Games. So it's going to be an interesting season next year. We also, one of the things that got these kids, I think the most successful kids were the ones that started at the age of 8. We did the Summit Run here, which is a running event. And at the end of it, they get this really nice medal. And we also, Saskatchewan in winter, 40 below, 35 below, they still come out and we go to Physio Fit, and it's a gym. And at the gym, we do rock biathlon, which was created because of COVID. We walked on the road quite a bit, found a lot of flat rocks, and then made up a little fun game called Rock Biathlon. And that helps them with skills actually as well. So we do circuits and we do different games, and that gets that's our program here in Saskatchewan. So the weekly training sessions happen. This was a picture on the right-hand side of when the kids were little. There's 5 of them there. And there, 4 of them actually are really quite involved. And this is also another picture where Prince Albert actually held a race, and it was 20 below. Like, it was not easy. This is not an easy sport. So they actually came out, and there was quite a good racing crew there that took part in that Sask Cup. So they have been, encouraged to race for sure. And it seems like that's what some of them really like, is that's where all the excitement is at the races. So we try to do some races that are also dry land as well. But so that's really the kind of all the sort of key points about the program for Saski Adaptive Ski Snow Sports. There is a Sochi video, but it's we'll try to embed it maybe later. There is an event coming up that is called Winter Shines event, and I'll let Pat explain that.
Okay, happy to. But before I do explain Winter Shines, if you'd like to click back on some of the alpine-looking pictures, there's a little more I can add to what Colette was explaining. We do have this connection that she mentioned, the Sports Medicine and Science Council, and we do work with them as more so this year than we have before, and that is to help like the athletes who are looking at elite involvement. So sometimes they get assistance through us, through them. So that's not only for the Nordic, but it's available to the other disciplines of the skiing. And I wanted to kind of expand a tiny bit about that mountain boarding that Colette was showing. Because our winter season is a lot shorter than the non-winter season, that is a time for a lot of those athletes to kind of, as she said, get fit and be out there. And so that adaptability of the frames to different things underneath the frame is kind of a bonus for the ski sport, because it is tricky with the advances in modern equipment for the skis and bindings. So we have to cope with that, but the whole frame can be used, on a different contact with surface. We haven't done it with ice, but I think, some places have talked about doing things like that, but we haven't really gone in that direction. And in this cross-country Nordic area, because everybody is so unique, and if they're like, we've got maybe one of every kind of commercial equipment, just because that makes sense. When we first started to do this, the equipment I got was from Europe, and that's when we found Colette. And she will laugh because we put her on that, and she basically ripped it apart. It just didn't work. She was too strong for the equipment. So we got into this mode of, adapting things and building things for the Nordic. And we're still in this sort of research and development focus, just because there is not equipment out there that suits everybody, especially that younger crowd. A lot of that equipment is built for adult bodies. But we have some unique bodies in Saskatchewan that we just seem to have one of. And that's where we got into all of this R&D, and it's slower than we want it to be. But with the help of Sask Sport, they've been quite generous to support that work. And the one piece that Colette was highlighting is the kneeler. That we still have a bit of work on that, but we loan that out even to individuals in other provinces if they become members of Saskatchewan, just for the liability. And other provinces have purchased that. We're not in the business of making money selling equipment. It's just to get our skiers accommodated. So like if we have anything that we learn, we are happy to share it, just to have progress happen. So I wanted to throw that in there just so that to round off the fact that the other disciplines like para-alpine are very willing to help us if there are athletes that come on board and want to do racing. The officials are there. Some of them get a bit of extra training to deal with, the adaptive skiers. But everybody in Saskatchewan has been very supportive of promoting any of the skiing that we've tried to, bring forward under Sask Sport. So just to let people know who might eventually hear this, that we definitely have support beyond what we do ourselves with our own hands, because we could never do all that. We're too small in volunteers and just immediate people. That will grow, I think, with time. But yes, so this Winter Shines, we were approached by the organizers of Winter Shines, which is a week-long event in Saskatoon. I know there's other events in the province like that, but this one, we're just doing a part of one day. It's a week-long event, and at the location of the Old Farmers Market in Saskatoon, which is around 19th Street and Avenue, about A and B in there, there is a tiny little park adjacent to the building, and the city has worked with the organizers of Winter Shines to pack that area. And we're going to come out on that Saturday, February 26th, for a couple of hours, and we'll schedule like 30-minute segments of time, and whoever knows about the Para-Nordic ski awareness that we're going to do with various adaptive equipment, and possibly some blind skiers might come. We will, introduce to the public whatever they're interested to know about adaptive skiing. And I think their website has put forward the invitation to, have a look at demonstrations of the various Para-Nordic sit skis that might be there from users and what we have in stock. We might see standing skiers doing things, and we'll describe the various adaptive equipment, how it works for differently able people. So, like, able-bodied and differently able participants are welcome to come and learn and try. Kids up to elders, everybody is welcome just to learn about it. And I'm quite delighted that they wanted to give us a beautiful little track along the river, but it's like a 10-minute walk away. And I think it's probably ideal that we're going to be right in amongst the activities of the other things going on in that location of the farmers market, like the ice sculptures and all the other activities that they've got planned. The public will see us doing things like that. It's a way of just growing the visibility. So February 26th from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Anybody who wants to get some information ahead of time, there's some contact information there. And if they want to look at the website, it's a Nutrien-sponsored Winter Shines event. We just would like people to, be wise, dress warmly, and if there are minors, that there's a responsible person that would accompany them, an adult or somebody like that. Because we don't have we don't know what to expect. It will be casual, but we want to try and explain what we do. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much, Colette, Pat. Is there anything more that you guys have that you wanted to share as part of your part of the information you have?
Well, I
think
see
I
that
forgot-
Darren,
Yeah, Darren's on the line.
if he has any questions,
great.
then we're here.
Okay. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop the recording here. Okay. And I do apologize for my phone going off.